Alright guys, so I've been talking about this Megacab Longbed project for a long time, and I made a post the other day and I said I might use this frame. We'll see. Let's see if we can get these axles sold. Same day, axles sold. So I got to get these things pulled. We're pretty much going to be pulling everything off. I am going to leave these perches and these two as well. So I went through and did my measuring. The cab is probably going to come back around somewhere in here, pretty much 10 inches. When I was looking at a factory cab, it looks like it ends right around here. So we're going to be around here somewhere. And then I've measured from back there, and we have plenty of room to put an actual bed. Now, the problem with that is this axle is going to be too far forward. As you can tell by cab and chassis trucks, they have a little bit more behind the bed than, behind the axle than a normal truck does, which is fine. The only thing is, I will have to move this axle back. Now, it looks like we have quite a bit of clearance here, actually, to move that. So, what I'm going to do, get the axles dropped, get the leaf springs dropped, and probably clean this frame up. Now, this is going to be a couple-year project. I am not in a hurry to do this. I want it done the way that I want it. Not like this. This was like a couple-month project. This is going to be a couple-year project. I want to get this frame cleaned up, get rid of the control arms, get rid of the front suspension, get rid of everything I don't need. We have the cross member. We're going to get rid of the exhaust, get rid of any of the 6-7 wiring for the emission stuff, and pretty much use everything from this truck over. The only thing that's going to change, the axles are going to come from this truck, the drivetrain and the interior in the front are all going to come from this truck. I am going to look and source out, probably in the next 6 to 12 months, somewhere around there, a Megacab body, clean, black, with a sunroof. I 100%, 1000% want a sunroof truck. Do not care. Now, this one has the upgraded steering box, so that's going to be sweet. Now, I don't know how good this box actually is, but let's start getting stuff dropped, get this thing on the ground, and start assessing the situation of what we have. We're going to remove the brake lines and get that master cylinder. Yeah, this exhaust needs to go as well, and the leaf pack. This rear hitch is going to go as well, but for now I need it for being able to transport this thing and move it around. But with using a cab and chassis frame, we get this nice 50-some gallon fuel tank, which is going to be awesome, and we don't have to worry about having a fuel tank on the side. And I'm still going to try to do a one-piece drive shaft. I don't know how possible it's going to be, but we're going to try it. I'm going to try the one-piece drive shaft. If I can't, I can't. Start tearing stuff apart and seeing where we get by the end of the night. Should just be 4 bolts right there, and then remove all this, the spring, the shock, all that stuff's going to go in the trash. And the front suspension, I'm going to take it off from up here. So get rid of all that, get rid of this. Everything I want brand new. Same thing with this. I think most of the brake fluid's out. So get rid of that, ABS, the whole 9 yards, because I'm pretty sure these are different with my year. So let's start getting this stuff pulled and see where we're at. All right, guys. Wow. I hit them shock bolts and this thing just wants to come down. So I got the exhaust out. All I had to do was take some clamps, so that wasn't too bad. Everything is over there in the scrap pile. I got the shock off. I got the front, the drag link off, and I got the drag bar, whatever, this thingy here, track bar, whatever. I got that off too, and now the dummy axle is just sitting there. All the nuts are off, so all I got to do is pound these out, and then this thing will be on the ground. I've already got all of the brake lines off. I try to keep them nice because I'm going to have to reuse them in the new build. But this guy goes to here, so there's 3 here. And then I even took the ABS wire as well, so this thing comes off. Once this drops, the spring will drop too, and then I can pretty much just take these 3 off. I'm going to throw this whole thing in the scrap bin because on the new build, it's probably just going to be a flat plate, and I forget or not if I said it, but I do plan on doing air suspension on the whole new setup. Like, this is a no money, to a point, no money matters build because it can take me as long as possible. To a point, there's some things that aren't needed, but you guys get the point. I'm going to make sure that this is like the best thing that I have ever built. Like, this frame needs to get cleaned, potentially sandblasted and painted before I start doing anything. Then I've got to make the mounts for the bed. Now, when we did the 5500 build back in the day, when we did the 10-foot bed, I just welded bars across and made those bars bolt to the factory holes. So that's why that setup worked. So we're probably gonna do the same thing here, but I need the cab in place. So at that point, I want this thing all nice and painted. And this being a C-channel frame from here back means it makes it so much easier to make sure that it's never gonna rust. Now this is a super clean, somehow super clean frame for a northern truck. Just a couple of spots here and there, but nothing sandblasting can't get. And then this is going to be 100% sprayed with that foam stuff or whatever that keeps rust away. 100% going to be doing all that, because there is going to be, probably by the time I'm done with this truck, there's probably going to be about $100,000 I've spent on this entire thing from here. Because this right now, after the injectors come back, I'm sitting right around the $51,000 to $52,000 mark. Imagine what it's going to cost me when I buy a new cab, get this painted, do the air suspension. The suspension alone is about $10,000 from what I was looking at. So it's just going to be one of those, it is going to take me some time because I still have other projects that I want to get done and other vehicles I want to build. So one step at a time. This will probably be the first and last video you guys see for months before this thing gets sprayed. I need to get this thing up on the wall because I have 2 trucks right now up on the lot that need to come in tonight, and then after those 2 are done, I've got 2 more coming in Friday and Monday, and then after that I've got 2 more scheduled on top of that. So I really need to get this out and done and taken care of. So with that being said, let's get this thing smacked and down, get these springs off, get the shock off, get the sway bar off, because we're not going to be running a factory sway bar, and somehow get that zip tie cut. I have no idea why this is on here, but it is. Well, front axle is dropped with the sway bar. And I gotta get this thing over somewhere. Probably just gonna plop them like right here in the meantime. But front axle out, now we gotta do the rear, and I gotta figure out how I want to do the rear. When I pull this thing off, all the wiring has to come off. Probably gonna take the entire brake cable because I think one of us cut it, and then I gotta take it off from up here. So shouldn't actually be that bad. Just break that 12 right there, and then all that should go. And then I got to get rid of any of the fuel lines going up to the front as well, other than a return line. So let's keep getting at it. We're getting there. All right, so got everything off of the rear. That bolt back there went easily. This front bolt, not so much. It's being a pain in the ass. I have already snapped off one of these, and I am trying my damnedest not to snap this guy. But beating the fuck out of it, don't care what happens to this bolt. Not going very easily. Gonna try doing what I can do, but that is the last bolt, and then this thing can fall forward. I'm taking the leaf pack with it. The leaf springs are going because we are not going to need them. Give her a good pressure washing. I probably, not tonight, because I need this fuel tank in place, but like I probably will. Is that what's been leaking this whole time? Oh. I was wondering what was leaking. Apparently that is leaking. So that's diesel fuel. I didn't realize that we were leaking from there. I was wondering what was going on. So I think that's from the fast, because I do not think that is factory. I think that might actually be a return. But yeah, I'm gonna get this whole thing dropped and set it over here with this other one. You can see the guy I bought it off of kind of smashed the control arm, but this actually came out pretty easy. Other than the bolt here in the sway bar that's spinning, other than that, I mean, this hasn't been that bad. It's just that those last 2 bolts there, and this one here just wants to spin and round. So I was able to take it off from here and just take the block with it, which I'll replace down the road. Don't worry about that. That's literally all we got to do is get this bolt out right here and then just drop it. Like I said, she's just hanging right here by the shackle, and that's about it. All right, well, we're close, but I feel like we're farther than we were when we started off. So I got it to this point. It's sticking out, but it will not go anymore. I've been using pry on it a little bit with the socket, kind of like in the reverse position, and then just beat on it. And we've just been going back and forth and back and forth. The other one I haven't touched yet, but we're getting there. It just now, it spins. It just won't physically pull out. So I got to find a way. I've put pry bars on it. I've put wrenches on it, tried to pry on it. It's proving to be an interesting one. I feel like once the threads catch, then it'll go. But we're at that point where it's like I can just sit here and spin it with the impact. And I'm trying to be very careful with that socket. I don't want to break it. So a little bit of leverage to where I can see it move, just kind of pull it back a little bit and then smack it a bunch of times as hard as possible, and it breaks it free, and just back and forth, back and forth. That's been, well, what got me locked into that position right there. So all I got to do is get that other one, and then we're pretty much done. Move this out of the way, and then once my help comes back in tomorrow, damn, that thing is really fucking leaking. Once he comes back in tomorrow, I'm gonna put this up against the wall over there. And I mean, that's really all I got, unless we put it over here, but I'd like to be able to use that door. So these axles are gonna go under, I believe it was going under an 89 or something, or a 90. I can't remember, but yeah, so that'll be one of our next projects. So, let's get these off, and let's just keep cracking at it, I guess. You know, another thing about having a place like this is we don't really have neighbors to complain about noise. It literally sounds like gunshots going off in here, but beating the fuck out of that. I was able to get it out about yay far, still going. I tried cutting it. Even my Milwaukee blades, they were like absolutely not having it. So that's about where we're at. Kind of stripping that hole on the other side, but I'm really trying to do what I can do, and I'm trying to use the jack to articulate it so it puts it in the center, so we're not fighting against it. I'm not worried about these brackets because I think these brackets are going to come off unless the 4-link goes off of that. I'm not 100% sure yet. It's proving very, very difficult. It's not fun. I'm not having a good time. That's literally all I have left, and then I can just drop this thing. Now I'm grabbing it from over on the other side, kind of where the sway bar is at, where that mounts at, so I can kind of articulate it to where I need it to be. Hey, you guys, I got shot with something. Did not feel good. Always wear safety glasses when doing this. I've been hit with plenty of metal at this point, as you can see from the end of that bolt. So pretty much the plan of attack has been put some pressure on it one way and then just beat the fuck out of it and try to get it to go back and forth and back and forth. And I've stripped it going the other way, so I really only have one motion. So we're getting there. It's just time at this point. And then that's pretty much it. Just throw this thing up on the wall. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. All right, so a lot has gone on since last I filmed. Still fighting that bolt, but it's all good. So I came over here and I grabbed the vacuum and I started picking all this stuff. I pulled the fuel pump out, the whole 9 yards, vacuumed everything, cut the hoses, and just looped the bottom hose of that, because there is actually probably a good 5-10 gallons of fuel in there. And started vacuuming stuff. I didn't get this section here. I wasn't worried about it because that's coming off. And I pulled all the wiring off, all of the bullshit wiring over there, and the fuel line. This fuel line needs to go as well. That goes all the way back to the tank. I haven't pulled it off yet, but I'm going to when I get the chance. It looks like actually I could just pull it off right here. There we go. So now that'll just be an open line, and then I'll probably modify this to be, I'll probably do something just to make it so that that is closed and sealed off. But that line the whole way up we don't need. We do still need the return line. We just don't need the feed. So this factory line here will stay, and pretty much that's it. Once that is out, I can put this thing up against the wall, and we're just going to sit on it for a while and figure out what the next step is going to be. But all of this needs to get degreased, cleaned off, the whole 9 yards, and I don't have the time to do the project right now, but it is nice that everything is tidied up and taken care of. Like, this will go to the new rear end that we choose, and I mean, other than that, I'm not going to take this rear off yet. This hitch piece here, might do that after we drop the tank, because I'm going to end up dropping the tank to get this thing cleaned and like taken care of, and then we're going to have to do some wiring for taillights and stuff like this back here and all this. So we'll end up going through that. I got to cut that green wire there. Someone decided to put lights on this thing that just absolutely did not belong, but that's where we're at. Let me know what you guys think of this project so far. I'm probably gonna wrap it up here in about 5-10 minutes, but I'm just gonna end up cutting this leaf right here. Just gonna cut it because I don't know if we're gonna be using these perches or not, but just sitting through and fighting it, that bolt's ready to strip on the other side and I can only do so much. So if I cut it, get the rear end out of the way, I'm gonna loosen those bolts up there, but by the way, those things are tight as a motherfucker. So we're gonna get those taken off, and then I'm just gonna scrap the leaf pack. That's pretty much it. I literally do not care. I'm not trying to make any extra money off that. I just wanna get it out of the shop is the main thing, and then figure out where I wanna put this thing on the wall. It's gotta get hung up somewhere. This whole corner needs to get redone, so we'll see. Well, that was an absolute pain in the ass, just like the rest of this whole thing, but it's off. So eventually, once my fab guy comes back from vacation, he is not really vacation, but once he comes back, I'm gonna have him help me flip these over, pull the leaf springs off so we can throw them out, or I might just cut them, I don't know yet. Yeah, because I don't think we're gonna be using these axles, but I got an absolute fucking gooner right there. That thing's swollen. I had that thing fly out at Mock Jesus. So, with that being said, I cut it, and I'm gonna tell you what, with an angle grinder, I've learned my lesson in the past. Do not cut the whole way through. Luckily, I didn't on this one. I cut to about this much left, let the jack down, and then just bounced on it and let it pop itself. If not, there's a lot of tension on those. No matter which way I would have done it, that could have ended badly. So, what I gotta do now is this needs to get moved to the side one way or another, and then I gotta bring the other project I have over here, and then that's gonna be the bay that I use for customer stuff because Bertha's right here smack in the fucking middle. So that's what I'm gonna do. I need to flip this thing over so I can bring the Honda over, and not sure how I'm gonna do it. All right, we got her up in the air, a little bit of brake fluid, nothing crazy. I'll be able to clean that up, but it's up in the corner. This is a temporary spot. I just gotta sweep this bay out and get all this stuff vacuumed up, thrown in the trash. But I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna move the Honda over here because we got some stuff to do on that. Some fabrication stuff. So it just makes sense to put it over here and then just keep working customer-wise out of that bay. And eventually I need to find a spot to put my trailer because I can't keep leaving this in here. So I gotta find a spot for that at some point as well. Probably put that up on the hill. But in the meantime, I think this is the best I could do with what I got. And might actually just wait until my scrap guy comes and let him do that. And then these gotta go and get stored somewhere else. I gotta get the control arms off of them because probably not gonna use those either. Definitely not gonna use those either. But let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have any pointers or tips, if anyone's done the Megacab long bed before. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, we're pretty much just gonna take the stock axle, well, stock 2500 axle, might use a Super Duty front, unless I have to use a Super Duty front and rear, but that way I get the locking hubs, and just Ford makes better axles, let's be real here. So, probably do that, try to continue to keep it as close to a 373 as possible. Air suspension or Kelderman, whichever one. I've always liked air. I didn't run it on Bertha because, I mean, it's simpler just to run the Timbrins, but with me not having to run anymore or as hard as I used to, I want this truck built for me and built my way, but I always loved having a super huge capacity of fuel. So that tank on the fence, if I can make that tank work with what I got, I will 100% use it. If not, we'll just use an auxiliary tank and just get rid of the factory tank. But we'll see. We will see. I will see you guys in about 2 years when I make another video on this. See you guys.